No ceasefire and no backing down, despite American pleas. If anything, the fighting seemed to pick up pace. But the growing condemnation has hardened Turkish resolve.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, Alex, how are you?
The country's vice president delivered a tough message at the presidential palace. No amount of arms embargoes or sanctions are going to deter them.
Sanctions, of course we have considered about sanctions. We do consider about sanctions, but none of those sanctions can be a threat, can be a more threat than the threat comes from the other side of the border, terrorist threats. So as Turkey, we are decisive, very determined to clear up the area from the terrorists, no matter what happens, no matter who says what.
And Turkey insists its operation is a fight against terrorism, no matter that the people they're aiming their guns at were only a few days ago their allies' allies. Turkey says America and Britain chose the wrong partners.
There's a state fighting against a terrorist organization, fighting against terrorism. And you expect us to sit and talk with terrorists?
Well, they were former allies of the Americans and the British.
That's a pity. If US and British or any other country around the world ally with the terrorists. So we hope that they do have a misunderstanding of who they are. Otherwise, we don't want to consider that any country who ally with us are the allies of terrorists.
In other words, you can't be allies with us both. On the battlefield, in the key town of Manbij, it was Russian flags flying. President Putin seems to be filling the vacuum left by the Americans, with Turkey ready to take on the Syrian regime to snatch Manbij.
We have been talking with Russia as well. Our ministers and our institutions are in constant talk with all the parts. Again, we hope that that's not going to be the issue, but we are determined to take the control of the area.
In the theatre of war, the injuries and deaths are mounting, and the UK's decision to join the EU arms embargo on Turkey will make little difference. Turkey is pressing ahead.
We are extremely careful for the civilian casualties, for kids, women, and elderly. Extremely careful.
But the fighting's displaced hundreds of thousands, and Turkey insists the refugees are Europe's problem too.
So European countries have to stand up and have to take the responsibility. So if they want to go to Europe, we can prevent for a certain time what we have done so far, but we cannot do it again forever. So this is not a threat indeed, this is a reality.
1 week on, the region's landscape has changed dramatically. The only constant is the misery for the civilians. Alex Crawford, Sky News, Turkey.